Hello everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Raymond Bunk and I'm running for State Senate here in the 31st Legislative District. Over the past couple weeks and few months, a lot of people have asked me, Ray, what's a straightforward guy like you want to get involved in politics for? Well, for me, it's about serving my community and bringing groups together to solve our problems. When I was 18 years old, my mother suffered a heart attack. It was actually on the day of my graduation from high school. My father was at work at the time and I wasn't home. So when my mother dialed 911 to get that need of help, the local EMTs and firefighters showed up. Without their support, without their education, without their training, without their ability to transport it, my mother may not have made it. Something that still truly affects my life. Imagine an 18-year-old's head on the day of his graduation. So self-centered about graduating from high school finally. So self-centered about his mom being sick. And those people that came out, they volunteered their own time to help my mother. That was when I realized that community service and serving others is the absolute most important thing to do in life. A couple weeks later, I was walking around town and saw flyers. And the flyers said, we need more EMTs and ambulance drivers, otherwise we're going to have to get rid of this program. 18 years old, I made the decision, I cannot allow that to happen. I cannot allow somebody else's mother to dial 911 and not nobody show up. That's when my community service started. I became a local EMT firefighter and later moved on to paramedic. In 1996, I kicked it up a notch. Not just my community, I also wanted to serve my country. I joined the United States Air Force as a reserve firefighter down at McCord Air Force Base, stationed out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. After my 4 years active duty, I went reserve, and in 2007, went to Iraq, and I'm still a service member in the United States Air Force down there at McCord Air Force Base. When I came back from the Middle East, my daughter Brown and I, we discovered this program. It's called the Kick for Nick program. And what they do is they collect soccer balls and raise money so they can send those soccer balls and sporting equipment to kids in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's actually distributed by our Marines and our soldiers. Something Brown and I really felt strongly about. So we became the co-founders, and we are still the co-chairman of the Kick for Nick chapter here, and we've sent like 2,000 soccer balls over there. Not only does it, giving a soccer ball to a kid, make them smile, make their quality of life just a little bit better, but it's also going to build that bond between two conflicting groups, Americans and then whoever else is there, just by handing them the ball. In 2002, I became a police officer and was recently awarded the Police Officer of the Year by the Federal Emir up in Federal Way. I also am on the Civil Service Commission and Design Commission for the City of Bonnie Lake, and I was recently re-elected as the Fire Commissioner out at East Pierce. I'm continuing my public service I'm running for Senate so I can continue my public service and also bring civility back to Olympia. Somebody laughed on me there. I'm concerned about job creation here in the 31st, and I also believe that we need to pay more attention to small businesses because they're the ones that are going to grow and create more jobs. I also believe that in these tough economic times, we need to keep our taxes low and invest our tax dollars wisely to help out working families. I'm running for state senate so we can strengthen our public education program here in the state of Washington. The 31st needs better leadership than Pam Roach. Everybody knows her. She's been around for a long time, and she's been in the newspaper a lot. She's not making headlines for keeping taxes low or creating jobs. She's making headlines for being kicked out of her own caucus and being told that she needs anger management by her own Republican colleagues. She's also making headlines, again, not for strengthening our public education, but for berating staff members. And for this special legislative session, she wasn't even there at the beginning. Instead, she was on vacation. And closer to my heart, Pam has voted against full funding for education, public education, full funding for basic health care, and other essential programs that are needed here in the 31st. These aren't my values, they're not your values, and they're not the values of the people in the 31st. I'm continuing to run for state senate because I want to continue my education, my community service, and make this area better. With your support, we won't only make the 31st stronger, but we'll also make the state of Washington stronger. Thank you, and I will take any questions.
You talk about no more taxes, and the fact is the budget is crazy.
Yes.
Where would you cut? I mean, if we have to start cutting services, I'm a state employee, I work with developmentally disabled folks in the community, not at Rainier School.
Yes.
And it's Rainier and our state institutions eat up a lot of our dollars, but where would you cut statewide to balance a budget if you're not going to support another way of taxation?
I think that we should focus more, not on so much with what we would cut. We've actually spoken with us on the phone about what we wouldn't cut. We need to make sure we don't cut from the basic health, the public education. The state employees are actually endorsing Pam Roach, by the way.
I know.
just a note.
I
And what'll be interesting is, you brought up I-1077.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
And it's actually, I beat you to it, it's actually a state income for that top percent who are making over 400,000 as a couple 200,000. And they're talking about cutting our property taxes by 20%. That's gonna be very interesting to see if that is passed by the voters, seeing that the state sale, or the, I'm sorry, the state income tax has been shut down in the past.
Oh, especially the B&O tax.
If you know, it's, moves
That
up to
helps small businesses.
4250 is the tax break on that? Is that right?
Because that's really for small business in our state.
Either 5 minutes or, that's my height.
Middle.
5, okay, thank you. Ma'am?
I'm a retired teacher, and it's shocking that these aren't appearing in the paper every day. But almost every single district is losing teachers. I heard Bonnie Lake High School, for example, is going to be losing close to 25 staff members at that school itself. Tacoma Bates College, Technical College, just lost 25 staff members. I recently heard the president of the University of Washington, Tacoma, say that their funding is now down to 25% from the state. And can you even call it a public university anymore when state support is rough? I mean, we have a total crisis.
I agree. You know, it's
And we have to fund education. It's our future.
You know, it's funny being a cop, being a firefighter. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're all public safety." But if you look at my wheel, pretend we have the different spokes coming out. One of the biggest spokes is public education. If that spoke is removed, if we don't focus on the importance of your basic education and your extended education, being in college and stuff, my public safety wheel is going to start making the thump-thump noise, because the people who don't graduate high school are my customers. Those are the ones that I'm going to see in a few years. The kids that are walking Pack Highway and Federal Way at 2, 3 in the morning on a Thursday, they're not the ones doing well in school. The schools may be the only stable environment these kids have, whether it be sports, band, or whatever. The only warm meal that they have for the day. We need to focus on the schools. We need to focus on our children because, not to be rhetorical, that's truly our investment in the future. Sir?
How do you plan on actually beating Pam? We've sent some pretty good people up there, and she managed to beat them. So.
I think right now, I got a phone call from a Republican about a month ago, and he said, "Ray, I said I can't support you because people are scared of Pam. She's a tyranny, if you will. It's kind of strange."
She's crazy.
And his phrase was, "We used to think it was funny. It's not funny anymore. She's about as vulnerable as it comes." Even if, actually I was surprised to see the state workers twice supporting Pam Roach. She's ineffective. She cannot go into her own caucus and even beat on her own drum. The Democrats don't want her. So it's just going to be a word. She's very vulnerable. Door knocking and endorsements. I've had all sorts of off-the-record endorsements so far of people that we're going to help you. I have the backing of a majority of the fire departments in this area due to my fire connections, and everybody loves firefighters, and the firefighters are going to be out there waving signs and putting signs up and working hard. It's going to be getting the word out about Pam's mistakes, and I guarantee over the next few weeks, Pam will do something else. I got at least 5, but that's illegal gambling. She'll do something wrong. So it's doorbelling, getting out there. I've got a campaign consultant that I hired, Michael King with Wind Power. I'm hiring a full-time campaign manager as of Wednesday because it turns out Dallas works 40 hours a week and I can't beat her another 40 hours. So it's just going to be work. It's going to be a lot of hard work. I've never been told I'm not a hard worker. If you look at my resume, I do a couple things every now and then. Michael King's allowed me 2 hours of sleep a night, and so I'm trying to keep that to myself. But other than that, a lot of hard work and a lot of doorbell and a lot of just getting out there in the community. Anybody else? Did I not use all my 10 minutes? I have 1 minute left. Brian Gunn. Nothing? You let me down.
Hey,
All right,
right over
thank you.
there.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You were originally running for House.
Yes.
And I thought it was really great we had one of you running for each race. And you want to comment on what made you
Yes, I will, and I'll do it very quickly.
Okay.
About a month and a half ago, I received an email from Chris Gregorich, who is the executive director of the Democratic Senate. They think I have the best shot at beating her. They've been supporting me financially and with some other ways already with my website, www.raymondbunk.com, and some pamphlets and handouts and stuff. And they get a lot of support from them. They recruited me. They said they were going to give me money. I was very flattered. Didn't want to give it up. Did I do all right there?
Take 10 seconds.
10 seconds. So I do apologize for that. They contacted me before they contacted anybody in the 31st.